Inquisitors. Time to sell some action figures.
Ooh, bacon.
Right, greetings, Tasty Morsels. This is your first BLT here, obviously. Thinking about the things I'm really looking forward to, because this is an interesting case, because it reminds me of when they announced Solo, where I'm like, I'm not really sure I needed this, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I do like Obi-Wan as a character. I thought the Clone Wars and the prequel trilogy did a good job of making me actually, like him as more than just the sort of stereotypical mentor figure who's really only there to help the hero out at the beginning of his journey and then die tragically to motivate him. He became a much more fleshed out character. So I am kind of curious to see, more of that. Ewan McGregor did a great job, so I'm happy to see him come back into the role. But I have questions, like how are we going to build a real story around this character? Are they going to try to address a lot of the plot holes that were kind of present? Because, it's a pretty massive plot hole, I always thought. They did a lot of stuff in the EU to kind of and wave it away, but like this idea that one of the most wanted men in the entire galaxy hides on the home planet of the person principally trying to catch it for 20 years or whatever, or almost 30 years. And literally doesn't change his name, still dresses like a Jedi, and hid the son of the guy principally trying to catch him with the guy's relatives. Such a strange thing. Like, how on earth did he not encounter Vader and all that time? How on earth did Luke evade detection all the time? It made more sense that Leia evaded detection, but Luke, he even still had the Skywalker name, for crying out loud. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there that I'm wondering if they're just going to address it or if they're just going to yada yada it in a way. But anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it because I'm curious. I'm really excited to start this new chapter of Star Wars.
Through me can you achieve a power greater than any Jedi.
A lot of people say, how on earth did people not realize that was the Emperor? My mom did not realize that was the Emperor when we were watching the prequels.
Wasted by the dark side, young Skywalker has become.
No, not the killing of the younglings, not again!
Obi-Wan, there's good in him.
Biggest bullshit ever. Died of a broken heart. That's another thing that got kind of hand-waved away through novelizations. They were it was because of the dark side, sort of touching her because of Anakin force choking her. That's what really killed her.
To Tatooine, to his family send him.
I don't understand that decision tactically. Yoda, that was a dumb decision. It's Coruscant. It is Coruscant. Jedi Temple before the fall. We're going to start with Obi-Wan's training. He's like a little kid. Oh, no, it's Order 66. How did she not sense that coming? You would think she would have sensed that while they were doing their little practice runs here. Unless they just have older Padawans leading those exercises. So, trained but not all the way. Kids, you don't have time for this. Get the hell out of here. Jawas. Think I've ever seen that alien before. What is that? It kind of weirdly looks like an X-Wing, but with a weird nose. What new playset do you have for us, Lucasfilm? Inquisitors. Time to sell some action figures.
You hunt Jedi.
In actuality, I would say the Jedi hunt themselves.
What? That doesn't make sense.
You know the
key why are you hitting yourself?
Hunting Jedi, friend. It is patience. Their compassion leaves a trail. His compassion has been his undoing.
You know, you don't have to use your freaking hands to use the Force. It'd be much easier to hide if you just kept your hands down.
You'll never find us all.
Something you could have done, you know? Really? You stopped by a net for like a couple
reckless. You will forget this fixation with Kenobi, or I will relieve you of your duties. Is that clear?
Yes, Grand Inquisitor.
Guess somebody with some history with Obi-Wan, I think.
Consider him forgotten.
Oh, you know what? Of course. I was wondering to myself, why are we starting with this group of younglings escaping Order 66? One good thing about the rarity of black people in the Star Wars universe is you notice when you see any black person, and there was definitely a black girl in that group of younglings. I'm guessing third sister here is said black girl. So why does she dislike Obi-Wan? What did he do or fail to do in her mind? Maybe it's because he trained Anakin, who, you know, marched through the place killing younglings that day. So is this where Obi-Wan's been hiding out for now anyway? Could at least have left the planet, Obi-Wan. You stealing food, buddy? You know your capitalist overlords will look poorly upon that. I mean, it looks like they literally even have like a freaking armed overseer, just like in the old mining days and shit.
Please, I have a family.
You asshole.
One more word, I take it all.
Hate people like
Something you want to say?
Fucking bullies. Yeah, big man, laugh while you can. Little do you know that Obi-Wan could whoop your ass 100 different ways before you could even lift a hand. It's a good thing that they don't have pictures in the Star Wars universe. Because you never see wanted posters or anything. I mean, we saw in the book of Boba Fett and everything, the Mandalorian, the little bounty pucks that had holograms of people, though. But it seems to me that the Empire should know, just put up a bunch of freaking posters everywhere. You don't have to go super high tech. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yes, I had some parts stolen. I need a new processor board.
What a coinkydink! I just happen to have it, the exact part you're missing.
Steal my parts and then sell them back to me. Could you at least clean them first, as a courtesy?
Fucking Jawas, man. Cleaning costs extra. I have a question, Obi-Wan. How do you have memories of the stuff that happened when you weren't there? like the view of baby Anakin in The Fighter when he was all by himself.
Master.
It sucks being a spirit, having people just sort of like page you all the fucking time. You're just trying to hang out doing spirit shit, and then all of a sudden, Master. Obi-Wan, do you not get that you put him in danger just by being nearby? Was that child support payment? Who we got? Tuskens? Or I know we're meant to think this is Inquisitors, but I'm guessing it's probably more likely to be Tuskens.
What are you doing here, Obi-Wan?
My name is Ben.
Come on, please. Please. You have no idea what I've been through.
You know that you were probably followed. Inquisitors would be pretty stupid not to follow a Jedi on the run to see if he might lead them to others.
Stay hidden. Live a normal life.
What about the people that need us? What about the fight?
The fight is done.
You lost.
We lost.
Yeah. You gotta know when to fold them, buddy. Naboo? I love how the show isn't even bothering with location cards. It's like, fuck it, you know where we are. It's a new queen? Or are we on Alderaan with Leia? That is a handsome little outfit. This is definitely someone royal. Ah,
She insisted you would find it amusing, Your Highness.
did you guys really not notice who you were dressing? Or what? I mean, she probably commanded them to do it. But good servants know not to listen to the command of the princess over the command of the queen. Yeah, that's definitely Leia. You can't trick me, show. I know that's Leia. Cautious, as always. And Alderaan was pretty. Is this the first time we've gotten to see Alderaan in live action? Like, actually see the surface of the planet? Oh, they're gonna sell a ton of these little guys.
It is like raising a glory.
I don't know what that is, lady.
No Lola for the rest of the day.
But she didn't do anything.
Shut her down.
It must be really hard for him to keep his head down and resist the natural urge he has as a Jedi to intervene when he sees injustice.
I want you to stay away
Lars
from
didn't like it.
We don't need anything from you, Ben.
It's just a toy. We talked about this. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
Conversation that shouldn't be had in public, I think.
You know something?
She's force sensitive, so she can tell you know something, unfortunately.
Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die!
She's doing a lot of effective work with this, but it's like her voice doesn't fit the menace of the character.
Stand down, third sister.
He just really wants to kill somebody.
Next time.
Are you guys like amped up or something? Is that like, did they give you drugs or whatever?
You are too impulsive.
Thank you, Owen.
Not in public, guys.
Didn't do it for you.
I mean, I could have heard that conversation from like 20 feet away.
Anything good today?
A trade ship and an Aquilian Ranger.
Probably scouring for pirates.
That's what I said.
Don't encourage her.
All right.
All I can think about when I watch all these people is that like they're literally all going to be dead in a couple of decades. Every last one of them.
Save the bleeding heart for the Senate.
A drink, Senator.
Have I told you guys before? I think I have. How much I hate schmoozing parties.
Your Highness.
Oh, thanks, Wyo.
My pleasure.
Except for the food.
You think you're droids?
It's good manners.
You don't need manners when you're talking to a lower life form.
Then I guess I don't need manners when I'm talking to you.
Burn! You got burned!
You're scared of him. Your father. You want him to like you, so you repeat what he says, even though you don't really know what it means.
You being observant, or are you using the Force right now, Leia?
Never made one decision for yourself in your entire life, and you never will. I may not have seen much, cousin, but I can see that.
See, they still haven't learned the lesson with dialogue that kids don't talk like that. I don't care how noble they are.
In a few years, you'll be off to university, then junior senate.
The Senate's boring. It's people in itchy clothes arguing.
See, she sounds so much more natural when she says normal kid stuff.
One day, this planet will look to you, Leia.
I mean, I guess it will for a couple of years. Okay, yeah. I had heard about this. This was one scene I'd heard about, and yeah, this is kind of ridiculous. They should easily have caught up to her. What they should have done to make the scene work better is just had it start in the foliage. You know what I mean? Because a tiny kid definitely could get away from an adult in a densely forested area like this, because they can fit into all sorts of weird little areas and stuff that the older people have a hard time getting into. But they made the mistake of having the chase scene start in the open, where it would have been super easy to catch her almost immediately. You know what I mean? So it just kind of comes off as cheesy. Not a deal breaker for the show by any means, but it does stand out. Oh, he's got a Nokia in there and the throwing star of great justice.
My duty is to the boy.
What about your duty to his sister? She's as important as he is.
So are they going to explain why
10 years.
they put so much stock into Anakin's
Not who I
kids?
used to be.
Man, this Star Wars series is not afraid to go dark. What's holding his head up? It should be like down like way further than that. I know, guys. I picked the nits. I can't help it.
There is no one I trust more with my child than you.
Not even your wife?
For her.
Come on, someone has
One
to say
last
it.
fight.
You are my only hope. Good thing they didn't check her very thoroughly, eh? No! You actually remember where you buried it? That is the most legendary memory of all time. Why do you even have to dig it up? Just use the frickin' Force. I would be a way better Jedi than actual Jedi. Because I would know how to use the Force properly.
Just get this over with.
Breaking the Ravisher Code. Yeah, Anakin's too, yeah.
You sure he's gonna come?
He fought beside her father during the war. He'll come. He won't be able to help it. The Jedi will hunt himself.
See, now there she sounded proper menacing. But, un problemo. Anakin didn't know he had kids, but the Inquisitors knew he had kids. They're going to have to do a little bit of exposition at some point to explain that one. Because otherwise it feels like a plot hole.
Well, you coming or not?
He just says, not, and then turns around and leaves. Are you serious? You're walking around with the lightsaber on your hip. Are you like asking to get caught? Just like put it in your pocket or something. Well, you know what I'm going to say, because I say it after like literally every premiere episode pretty much for any show. It was uneven. But I'm definitely still intrigued by the story it looks like they're telling. I love a good character analysis and a deconstruction of a character. And I think it's really cool to look at the idea of someone dealing with having to live a life that's very, very different than the one they were used to. Just like leaning into this idea of like, we know what Obi-Wan used to be. He was this, man of action, driven adventurer Jedi who led a very interesting, exciting life, especially for a member of the Jedi Order, and to have to basically force himself to live this new life of anonymity, of quiet isolation, of worst of all, ignoring the people around him who need someone to help them. Watching how that's ground him down, and how he still has enough of this sort of like memory of who he was to sort of resent it, and you can see it that he does. He chafes under it, but he's gotten to the point where he started to become this new person instead of just someone who is pretending to be the person in order to survive. Kid actor was pretty strong. Obviously struggled with some of the weirder dialogue they always want to put into the mouths of kids in the Star Wars universe for some reason. But, she felt believable to me as a precocious youngster who, has a hard time doing what she's told. Which is exactly how I imagine Leia was as a kid. The one Inquisitor, third sister, is not a bad actress, but I do think that her voice is not suited for the scenes where she's meant to sort of convey a bombastic, larger than life sense of imposing authority. Like, she's someone who I would probably have, like, I would probably write her, because of the actress, to be a little quieter in the way that she does menace. Just because you have to acknowledge what your actors can and can't do. Not everybody can make the kind of voice that sounds imposing at volume. Some of us just can't do that. You know, it cracks, it goes into weird ranges, like pitch-wise, that just come across more like someone struggling to sound tough. Grand Inquisitor, I'm not sure how I feel about that portrayal yet. I need to see more of it. He seems a little stiff, like, but not stiff as, like, you know, it doesn't feel like the character is stiff. It feels like the actor is just having a little bit of trouble figuring out how to move in the costume at the moment, which, you know, is pretty common when you have a lot of prosthetics and everything for your character. So I imagine we'll probably see him become more natural in the role as the series goes on. I do think that he feels like a commander so far. I did not like the little monologue about Jedi compassion and everything. I just felt it was a little too on the nose. But then again, it is Star Wars. I always have to remind myself of that. It is Star Wars. Star Wars tends to have its villains written in a little bit of a mustache twirly, two-dimensional way. It's just the nature of the way Star Wars tells stories in terms of morality. And morality tends to be very black and white. I always like to see them move away from that when possible, which is something I really liked about The Mandalorian. The Grand Inquisitor definitely does seem to be more of your sort of standard Star Wars villain, where he's just evil, you know. And I hope that we at least get a scene where he talks about compassion again, so that we can see a reason for him to despise compassion in particular as a trait. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where this is going. I think it did a decent job as a first episode to get me back into the universe, get me invested in these, I won't say new characters because mostly it's old characters, but in this new story that, you know, fills in some gaps here, I guess. I definitely was wondering what tack they were going to take, and it looks like we're going to be doing a sort of like smaller scale, more personal story. And I guess we got sort of like a running theme going so far, don't we? It's a lot of people dealing with their past, and yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm here for it. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I'm going to take a brief break, and I'm going to probably eat. We're going to eat some cake. Yeah, we get some cake. Then I'm going to come back and watch episode 2. See where we go from here. Thanks a lot, guys. Do me a favor, as always. Do your best to stay safe and be well. And I will see you for the next one. Bye-bye.